welcome to the Midday Show live on Echo Television International. Of course, you know on the Midday Show, we talk about different countries, their food, and different diverse places you can visit and things you can do. I have Tony in the studio with me. Hi, Tony.
As usual, how are you doing?
God,
You
I'm
look,
fine, thank
you
you.
look giving.
As usual.
You look captivating.
Oh,
You look
Lord.
enticing.
Thank
You look
you.
sophisticated. Believe me,
Really?
I'm
Because now I'm
saying
going to
this.
attack you today, right? That's why
No.
you're
So
just
you see,
being
but
all nice and
I
all
am
of that.
being loving right now. Look at the energy you are giving me.
Anyways,
Who is giving you an energy of or
you
the
now
vibe
you're
of
trying.
attack?
You
I
know
don't
you
want
now.
to
Every
attack
time
you.
you always want to attack me, like you're always on my matter.
I'm being truthful with you. That like the explanations of or the description of what I've given you is what you look. So I'm not trying to cap or anything.
I'm honored. Thank you, sir.
As usual.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Sweden. But then, before we talk about Sweden, there's just something little I want to say. Sweden is actually a country with rich history, diverse landscapes, and a unique culture that embraces both tradition and innovation. Whether you're wandering through its historic towns, chasing the northern lands, or simply enjoying a fika, Sweden promises an unforgettable experience. But did you know that Sweden is also the country of pop music, great design, recycling, and many more? Taking a tour to Sweden, prepare to be surprised by its unique culture and unforgettable atmosphere.
Wow. Like you were talking about this Sweden and I was just like this is my dream country.
I know.
Like
Like,
I am so excited talking about these Swedes. I don't know why. I don't really know why, but I think the feeling is coming natural to me. I
I
can't really
get
specifically say, okay, this is the reason why I'm actually being excited about
excited
talking
about
about
it.
the Swedes, but for the fact that I feel they they are naturally happy people
True.
is one of the reasons why I feel I'm being influenced by such. And is a country that happens to be situated in the Scandinavian regions. I'm talking about Scandinavian regions. We have a lot of countries like the Finland, we have Iceland, we have the Denmark, we have like a lot of countries that are actually
European
situated in that
countries.
particular region. But then Sweden happens to be one of the countries that I think supersede them in terms of infrastructures, in terms of architectural designings. Like in fact, their architectural designing like reflects more on their kind of persons. Like it reflects on their mind of modernization as it is right now in their particular in that particular country. They happen to be the country happens to be elevated in terms of historical backgrounds, historical storage and heritage. You know, if you talk about Scandinavians, or you cannot talk about England and exclude Scandinavians, because back in the days there were a lot of wars that those guys fought through all the times of the Germanic tribes, the Danes, the Swedish, the Norwegians, like a
The
lot of
Finnish.
them. The Finlands and the Iceland. Like there are a lot of wars that actually happened all through that particular time. But then you see that this time around they have come together, and that is why you have a lot of countries being sharing boundaries with Sweden right now. And like I have mentioned earlier, we have the countries like the Denmark, we have Finland, we have Icelandic. Like if you check closely, you realize that this country have land.
All about land,
So
land,
that is to
yeah.
tell you that land was the major thing that the Scandinavians then were fighting against. Like they were fighting for land, because if you look at England or Europe as a whole, you realize that Europe is a continent that has a lot of oceans, have lots of water. Like the majority of Europe is being covered with oceans and all of that. So one of the fighting thing or the fighting motive for them then was where to farm, where to build houses, where to do a lot of things and all, and which is why they engage into a lot of wars and all of that. You see people like the Norwegians then were referred to as the Norsemen. They are the most powerful people then as at that particular time. So there were a lot of wars that were being fought, and which is why Sweden happens to be one of the countries that supersedes them right now, because of how intellectual they have been and how preserving they have been culturally, and how their height of modernization supersede even the neighboring countries that happens to be close to them. And aside from that, they happen to be a country that is very wealthy. They have wealthy economy. they have wealthy or well preserved tourist tourist sites. Like there are a lot of things that would entice you, that would encourage you to come in and stay in that particular country. In fact, when you talk about their daily activities, when it comes to their works, their clothing, their language, their region, all of their religion, all of these things are so welcoming. Like they are so charming that even if you by chance happen to be present in that particular country, that is Sweden, you wouldn't want to go back. Like everything is so giving, everything is so alluring. Like you would be in that country and you feel safe. There is no or less corruption. Like Sweden is just the country for me.
Thank you very much. It clearly shows that
I can go on and
you love.
on.
I understand. I know.
Like
I know.
they are so happy. They are so accommodating.
When,
they are so gentle as I am.
excuse
my
you,
goodness.
as gentle as
I am.
I don't remember you being a
I
gentleman.
I don't have to necessarily
Anyways,
argue
I'm
with
not trying
that.
to argue with
This is
you,
me saying
but
about
I'm just saying I
talking
can't
about
remember
myself.
you being a gentleman. But
That's
if
your
you're talking
opinion.
about a country to go to, if you're talking about a place where you want to visit to do a lot of things, Sweden is actually should be like
It's the
the number one country
Should
you
be in your
should
bucket
think
list.
about, of course, because when you talk about peace, when you talk about business, when you talk about money, just talk about Sweden.
Money. I love the pronunciation of that.
When you talk about money,
Like
money,
there is
that's
weight.
Sweden. Yeah, it's filled with a lot of surprises for you. If this is your first time of traveling to Sweden, then you should actually have it at the back of your mind that you're going to have fun. And to talk about the people in Sweden, they're actually lovable people, they're caring people, they're hospitable people. But the thing is, there's one thing about them, they don't really give in to strangers like that. Of course, it's not everybody that will just welcome a stranger into his home. It's not just anybody that will just want to just see a stranger and then just start talking to you and all of that. And there's another thing I love about them, they mind their business. So far as you don't come to them to say this is what you want or this is what has brought you to their country, this is what you want to do, they will not bother themselves into asking you anything. Of course, because it's more like they are minding their business. There's one thing they say, if you mind your business, of course you will not get any trouble coming to you. But then that is what people in Sweden will always do. So then you as a visitor, and then the way they exchange pleasantries is just more like, if you know each other, then they exchange their pleasantries, like they just say hi to you and then you reply with the hey and all of that. And then if it is more like you're a stranger, they don't even bother into saying hi to you like that, to that extent, because they don't have any business to do with you. So then when you talk about traveling to Sweden, then you should travel to Sweden to do a whole lot of things. Is it business you want to do? You just want to go for maybe a time out, maybe you just want to stay away from maybe some issues that you have, some challenges you're facing and all of that. Find yourself in Sweden and then you will do exploits. If you want to go to school, if you want to do business, anything you want to do.
Is free.
So of course, based on the research and all of that, education is free. Then why would you want to tell me that you want to go to school and then you're thinking, a lot of people are looking for this opportunity to go to school, a lot of people want to be educated, but then you realize that some other countries you have to pay a whole lot of money because they say education is key.
It's true.
But then people in Sweden have already taken it upon themselves that for them to actually give back to the society, they try to give you what you need. Education is key to whatsoever it is, because once you get to learn, you get to teach other people. Even not in your country, even outside your country, you can teach other people about what to do and what you have learned and how to go about things in the society. Now you talk about family, they love their family so much. True. So that is why they don't involve visitors like that into their homes, because they be like, they don't really know this person, so they can't welcome you into their homes and they end up doing a whole lot of things. They really appreciate family. If you want to know about people in Sweden, then you should understand that they don't joke with their families. Their time out, maybe when they want to go for maybe any picnic, parties, any event, any festival or anything, they always take everybody along. That's when you talk about family. So then if you have any issue, or maybe if you think you want to travel to Sweden for anything, then you should actually make your research. Most times when we do all this research and then we talk about all these things, in as much as we have not gone there, but more like we're aspiring to go there.
No, talking about left alone service, you're being there.
Is you're being there. True. Because if you find yourself in a particular country, you need to learn a whole lot of things.
It's
Of
true.
course, they speak English in Sweden. Of course,
The
they
English is
do.
their second, is
It's
their
second
second
language,
language.
of
Yeah.
course. So then, because you know that a lot of people will go there, maybe there can be somebody that doesn't even understand their own first language or something. But then, so far as they can exchange, they know how to speak English, and then you also know how to speak English. Communication is
It's
actually
key.
going to be very important. So then, if you travel to Sweden, don't just end up saying, okay, you just went for business, so you just do your business and then you leave. No, just try to know one or two people. Just try to go to one or two places. Of course, they have a lot of places where you can visit. They have a lot of activities that you can indulge in. There, they have a lot of things that you can do to have fun. At least just to get away from maybe some challenges that you're going through, and a lot of things that is going through your head. So then, if you think you want to travel to a particular country for just to have fun and all of that, Sweden is a beautiful country,
Yeah, it's true. It's very
and is
beautiful.
a is a rich country as well.
It's a
When you
country
talk
that,
about money, when you talk about giving out to the people, like people in Sweden are just it.
like, ideally, they are this kind of persons that they want a very simple life. Like, they don't really stress themselves into doing some some unnecessary things that would cause them stress at the end of it. I mean, at the end of it all and all of that. I'm talking about family. I'm talking about simplicity as well. They tend not to have more than 2 to 3 children. Like, each family
I
tend
like
not
that.
to.
That's my plan. I
Like,
don't want to have more than three children too.
like, they are living an ideal life.
Because you just want to
They
give
are
them the
living a very
best.
moderate life. Like, they live in society where they don't have to really, be so occupied or preoccupied with family issues or family issues one at one hand or the other. Like, they try as much as possible to do what is necessary for them, and they don't see the society to be a place where the husband have to be the breadwinner of the family, but they try as much as possible that their responsibilities at home is being shared, where the wife has her own responsibility to cater for, the husband also has the responsibility to cater for. Like, it's a shared thing, because it's a place where job opportunity is very, very secure. Like, it's very easy. It's like Sweden happens to be a country that it's one of the countries that I have seen that they rarely fire people. Like, they rarely, no, honestly speaking, they
Yeah.
don't really, they don't fire employers as such. And even if you've done something that is quite magnificent, something that is what you're being sacked or something, they have a union whereby
Want to look
your
into it.
employer, no, it's not even looking into it. Your employer would have to pay you salary of, like, in advance for a year before the employer sacks you. So for an employer that intends to sack or probably fire your
So
staff,
why would
definitely
you
you
want
have
to
to
fire your
think
staff?
deep.
Of
You have to
course, of
think
course.
deep before firing or
But then
sacking
that
that
does
particular
not give
person.
them the opportunity to continue to do things that is going to go
Yeah,
contrary to
it's
the
true.
rules and
And they
all
try
of
as much
that.
as possible to their daily activities or their daily life activities there. They go to work on a normal time of, say, 8 to 9, and then close 4 to 5, and then they see it to be prohibited, or an action of prohibition where you stay overtime in your office. In fact, if you are being caught spending an overtime in the office, you can be sued to probably one act or the other. So they try as much as possible to close at the exact time of their time closure or closing and all of that. They don't really do too much. They just do they just live a simple life. And it's a country that has one of the highest recyclers, like, that is those that ride bikes and bicycles and all of that. So they just want a very peaceful life. They want a very simple life. You don't really have to live a sophisticated life that everybody will have to be showing off here and there and all of that. They even trek as much as possible to even exercise their body. It's not everywhere that you see a Swedish, probably uh, 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 carrying his or her car to. They try as possible to exercise through their bikes, or maybe with their bikes, or through their legs, or with their legs. So yeah, I think it's a very nice thing, and it's a very nice culture to have been adopted right from time, and then up to this moment being in existence. So I don't know, I just love these people, and I wish many of us can cultivate this kind of habit of what they are already into. But then I just feel we have our individual differences, but then even our society sometimes is one of the factors that make us to be what we are in the society. But then we talk about the religion part too. I think about 76 to 80% of the race there are actually Christians. That is, the majority of population there are Christians. So they value religion a lot, and there are lots of holidays that they also take into cognizance, where you see where they put some certain things at rest, and then give respect or pay respect or homage to that particular thing. There are a lot of major holidays like New Year holiday. We have Good Friday, we have May Day, we have the Shrove Tuesday. Like there are a lot of New Years that are embedded in in a year.
Christmas and all of
And like
that.
there are a lot, they don't take all of these things for granted. Like just like the way Christmas is actually fast approaching, you realize that their major things, or probably their work and everything, will be coming to an end now, because they are already anticipating for the celebration of Christmas. So this is their daily activities there in Sweden, and I am just so amazed at how these people have been living their life quietly. Do you know, even during the coronavirus, the year 2020, where there was total lockdown all over the world, Sweden happens to be that country that there was no total lockdown.
So
Like
that's
the
growth.
movement was still good, like was still smooth, like the way it's supposed to be in a very normal day. Like
On a
they
normal
just
day, yeah.
like their simple lives, to be sincere.
It's actually interesting to know that Sweden is a place where you want to belong to. It's a place where you want to go to. Like a lot of people, if you are actually thinking of a place to go to, you should actually think of going to Sweden, because when you talk about peace, when you talk about growth, when you talk about business, when you talk about work, when you talk about education, Sweden is actually one place that one should go to. And when you talk about their culture and the things that they do, is another thing for you to pick up, because they don't joke with some particular things. When you talk about the holidays, when you talk about the times that you know they're supposed to spend with family, most importantly, because they love family, because they care about family, because they don't want anything to separate them with their family. So they don't joke with all these holidays. When you talk about Christmas time, when you talk about the New Year, when you talk about May Day, when you talk about all the holidays that they have, they always observe that, because it is actually the opportunity, and it's actually a time for them to be together with their family. It's actually a time for them to talk about a lot of things, to see maybe people most of their family members that maybe traveled for one thing or the other can actually come back during this period, and then they get to spend time together. So when you talk about traveling to Sweden, when you talk about doing some certain things, I think if I'm thinking of a place to go to right now, whatever it is I want to, be it business, be it education, be it school, be it maybe just to have fun and all of that, I think Sweden is one of the places where I want to go to. Like first on my, I know I've had a lot of countries that I've always said I want to go to,
So
and
in
I want
essence,
to
when
explore
you're
a
trying
lot
to,
of
you're
things.
trying to add Sweden to your
I'm trying to
bucket
make Sweden
list
the
now.
first, like the top, like
Wow.
it should be like the number one or number two of it, because
I can see me influencing you already.
excuse you,
Believe me,
when
I just said Sweden has been my dream country. You didn't say it at first. It's when I started saying about Sweden.
oh,
I started
because
saying
you
sweet
made
things
you
now.
made your research, and
I've been
then
saying
you
sweet
noticed.
things about these people. Now I just want to make it first of your list.
You know,
Calm down, man.
the last episode we had, you were actually on my matter.
No, I was saying
And then
to Nisha,
today you
no,
want
it
to be
was
on my
to Nisha,
matter.
actually.
Do you
told
understand that I can actually come back on you, and like I can actually give it back to you? But I'm trying to hold my peace, because I understand where you're coming from
This
and
is
what
this
you
is one
want.
of the reasons why you cannot go to Sweden, because you don't know peace, and we in Sweden we have peace.
Yeah, of course, because the people in Sweden actually love
They are very
peace.
peaceful, yeah.
But anyways, I'm peaceful,
You don't
because
like
I'm trying to be
violence.
peaceful. In case you want to go to
And
the,
that was
please
why I
try
started
and be
this
peaceful.
show. I started this show with complimenting you to
No,
show how
you were
calm
just
I
trying.
can
You were
be.
just trying to make me feel like, no, this is it. Anyways, it worked. Though. It works. At least now I understand that when I'm going to Sweden, I should actually have the peace
That
that I
mindset
need,
of being a
because,
peaceful
of course,
person.
because a lot of people will just want to travel, and then they don't even know what to do and what not to do in a particular
Or
country.
they carry their aggression onto the country.
And then some people can
even
even be so aggressive that they get to a particular place and they want to just end up insulting people or fighting or doing all sorts of things. But then there's one advice I always want to give people on this show, that if you have plans of traveling to a particular country, it's not just by getting the visas, it's not just getting the opportunity to travel and all of that, but then why not know about this country? Just make a little research and then know a lot of things about, maybe just the key things about this particular country.
It's
you're
commonly
going
said
to.
that no knowledge is lost.
No knowledge is lost, because if you end up knowing something about it, now you know that when you get to Sweden, like you understand when you see a Swedish person passing and then the person doesn't say anything to you, you know that this is their culture. This is
That's
something
one
they do. So
advantage
you
for
don't end
them.
up being aggressive to the person and being like, "Ah, you didn't see me," or rather,
And
"I'm saying hi to you, you're not responding," and all of that. But then if you make your research, you know that people in Sweden don't really mind people's business. Like they always mind their own business. So then you should understand that when you find yourself in Sweden, then just respect yourself. Just be on the level where you're supposed to be in. So then you don't end up going, they don't end up sending you back to where you're coming from,
deporting you
because
back to where you're
it's
coming
going to
from.
be embarrassing. I know of someone that tried to travel out of the country, and then when he got to where they were supposed to tell him all sort of things, or rather they were checking his papers and all of that, he got to a point that he got angry because of the way they were checking his bags, and then how they were asking him a lot of questions, and they had to bring him back. They sent him back. And then you see, there's something we need to understand with ourselves and our temperament. If you're going to a particular country, why not just try to know what is happening in this country and what not? Because if you end up doing something contrary to their own rules there, they will
It will be
send
an
you back. Like, they
embarrassment
don't
to
even
them.
care how much you've spent and all of that. So they're talking about the people in Sweden. They are peaceful people, they are loving people, they are caring people. So then if you find yourself in Sweden, try not to do something that is going to go out of their own way or out of their rules and all of that. Try to be on check, try to do the right things that you're supposed to do, and then you will end up doing the right thing. And then when you talk about their living conditions, except for brick and clay farmhouses in southern Sweden, most dwellings were traditionally built of wood, of course. And then you realize their houses are beautiful.
True.
Because when building of woods and all of that, do you know what it means to construct all these things? Do you know what it means to get all these things in shape, and then the colors that they tend to put, and then the flowers and everything that they tend to do? Like, they do things the way they want to do it. They don't even they don't think of, maybe, okay, fine, let's imitate other people, but then they're living based on their own standards, because they have all it takes to build what they want, to get what they want, to live to the standard. So then their living condition is actually based on what they want. They don't think about other people. They don't build on other people's let's say, maybe their point of views and all of that. But because of their own culture and how things have been with them from the beginning, they do things that is going to be pleasing to them, and things that is going to give them the joy that they want. So then when you realize that you're talking about the people in Sweden, you're talking about what they do and what they don't do, try to understand what they want and what they don't want. Because if you end up living a different life entirely from what they want, then you end up being in trouble.
True. You're talking about their clothing too. Like, in the modern times right now, like the Western lifestyle clothing is one in Sweden, and then as it is in the United States, the Swedes usually wear, like, what they wear is typically like slacks, shorts, t-shirts, and likewise. And then suits are actually being worn by both men and women in typical places of business. Evening gowns appear at formal affairs, and like all of this, like that kind of clothing style is actually more of like the Western style, where you see, just like what I've mentioned, normal suits, short t-shirts, and all of those things. Like, it's just a normal thing for them, and it's a routine for them. But then having dressed other to show off their body and all of those things are not one thing that they really pay much cognizance to. But then they try as much as possible to dress in an ideal way. They try as much as possible to dress in a way that they will not be intimidated. They dress casually, they dress simply, like in a very simple way, so that they can do whatever thing that they want to, and all of that. Then talking about sports too, sport is one of the major things that they tend to do in their leisure times, where you see about say 40 sports, like different type of sports embedded in the country. But then one of their favorite sport then is actually soccer, that's football, where you see a lot of players in the field, and then you see a large population going there into the stadium to watch whatever thing they play and all of that. So in these numerous or several sports that they are, or type of sport that they have, they try as much as possible to engage in but probably like one sport or the other during their vacations, during their leisure times, during their summer time, like summer periods and all of that, so that they will be engaged into an activity. So it won't be as if they are being segregating themselves at home, or not exercising, not being involved in one fun or the other. So they try as much as possible to, get involved in an activity or one activity or the other. So I think it's actually a nice thing for me actually.
Yeah, of course, when you talk about sports, they also have the swimming, rolling, sailing, and all of that activities that they do. So then, when you want to enjoy a particular thing in a country, then you should learn to do one or two things that they do. Try to be in their shoes. Try to do what they do, because you can't just find yourself in a particular country and then you're not doing what they are doing. They said if you're in the when you go to Rome, you should be like the Romans, because whatever it is that you are doing, you just want to fit into it. Don't just be the outsider that you are and then end up living a different. They'll see you, they'll even laugh at you and be like, this person is actually a stranger. So then you're a visitor in their country, you don't even know what is happening and all of that. Once they have any activity they're about to observe, let's say maybe during the Christmas period, the New Year and all of that, you find yourself in the country during this period, then you should try to fit into what they do. So you just so you have fun and all of that. When you talk about entertainment and recreation and all of that, you said many of the Swedes leisure hours are devoted to outdoor activities that will enable them to enjoy all the things that they want to do, all the activities that is being done. When you talk about going for different activities and all of that, they enjoy it to the fullest. It's common for retreats to rural areas during weekends and vacations. Of course, weekends are actually days that people rest, people tend to go for picnics, people sit with friends, people hang out a lot and eat all the things they want. It's just to have this communication, this conversation, this understanding with each other. Is actually a time for them to sit and then know what is happening around them, maybe in their families, their homes, and all of that. So then during all this time, they always sit at home, summer homes and all of that, just to enjoy everything that is happening around them. They don't really abandon themselves. They are always together. That's why I'm still emphasizing on the fact that family is important to them. Family is something that they don't joke with. Of course, in some other countries, people don't really bother about their families. People don't really bother about what is happening with them. But when you talk about the people in Sweden, they don't joke with their families. They don't joke with what is going to make them happy. When you think about, they always anticipate weekends. They always enjoy what is happening with them. So then it's actually a beautiful thing to know that when you find yourself in a country, do what you're supposed to do, and then don't just when you find yourself doing things that is right, then you enjoy it the more. But then if you're doing something illegal, then you realize that you're not actually going to get excited doing it. So then when you talk about food, when you talk about sports and all of that, they have a whole lot of things that they do in Sweden and all the hobbies and everything that they have. But before we continue, I think we'll have to take a time out, because so that at least you can breathe well. We'll take a time out now, and then when we come back, we'll tell you about their food and other things that you need to know about Sweden. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's still the midday show live on Echo Television. If you're just joining us, we're talking about Sweden. And if you have been there, thank you for staying with us. We're still talking about Sweden. And then we promise when we come back, we'll tell you more about their food and tourist attraction. We'll still talk about tourist attraction. I still have Tony in the studio with me. Welcome back, Tony. Your pride is what you came in this life.
It's not pride now, it's self-esteem.
Wow.
Self-esteem and self-love. Okay.
So we'll be talking about tourist attractions and places one should visit, maybe museum or maybe just a building that you just want to go and sit to have fun and all of that. And the first one we have there is the Liseberg theme park. Then said is one of the most popular and beloved theme parks in Sweden. It is located in the heart of the city and offers a wide variety of rides.
attractions.
There are attractions and activities for all ages. The park is home to over 30 rides, and then including the world's largest wooden roller coaster, the Bleeder, and then the world's tallest free fall ride. I love this free fall ride, and then in as much as I know I have this
Are
phobia
you
for
sure?
it,
That's what I
but
was about to say. Are you sure
I know
you
you were
can do
going to
it?
say that.
It's not about you like, but can you
And
do
then
it?
it's also home to number of live shows, and then including musical, acrobatic performances, concerts, and more. The Lisenberg also offers a variety of dining options from traditional Swedish cuisine to international dishes. Plus, there are plenty of shopping opportunities with stores and stalls selling souvenirs, clothing, and more. The park is often all year round, with special events and seasonal celebrations taking place throughout the year. From Eastern celebrations to the annual Christmas market, Lisenberg is the perfect place to make special memories with family and friends.
Talking about this place is just giving me that vibe of Tony. You have to be here. Like you have
Like this holiday, you
like
have to be there.
just make sure that you try and gather money and go to this place. This is a place that you go and liberate your mind, and it's a place that no matter how burden your like how burden your heart is towards some certain things or issues of life, there is no way you will go to a place like this and you will not feel liberated. Like you will not go to a place like this and feel intimidated, feel segregated. Like there's a lot of fun that you as like you're going to be exposed to, and for the fact that there are varieties of age that what was it called fun activities that you can engage yourself into, no matter how old you are or how young you are. Like there are a lot of things that you can do there despite your being old or you're being middle aged or young age. Like it's a place that you can see a varieties of so many things, and for the fact that you can as well be indulged into one plaything or the other is just the fun for me.
It's interesting to know that it's actually a whole year
because
thing.
because it's a place
Like
that you will know, no matter how burdened you are, no matter how serious your issues are, there's no way you go to that place and you come back the way you entered.
You shop and do
like
all
there are shopping malls, there are live shows that you can even engage yourself. Like, oh
tell
my
me why you don't want to
goodness.
find yourself in this place, and then it's found in the heart of the city,
The middle,
Please,
like they say, in the middle.
like why would you want to find yourself in this place and just to enjoy and have fun? No, seriously, when you think about going to a particular country, why not find just one place, at least a place where you can just go and have fun? And this Luxembourg is actually a place where you just visit at any time, so a lot of activities take place there. So why not find yourself in this place and have fun? Like when I was talking about the free fall ride, I know I have phobia for height, but I think it is actually something for excuse you. But then it's actually something that you should do to have fun. They said we should try new things, of course. So then, what if I try it? Am I going to die? I'm not going to die, but then I'm not going to die. So I'm going to try it when I find myself there. Seriously, it's good to try new things. It's exciting to know that when you find yourself in a different place, that it's not even your country, it's not your home, it's not your state, it's nothing compared to where you come from. Then you should try to explore. At least you have something to see. As I always say, experience is the best teacher. Someone will tell you, I did this and this happened. Of course you want to experience so you can have something to say. So then it's actually something for one to know and to understand that if you find yourself in this country, try to visit this place so you just have fun and do some certain things that you want to do.
And then we have Stockholm City Hall. So this Stockholm City Hall is located at Stockholm. I think it's a city, and then is one of the beautiful and iconic building built in the 1923. Then the City Hall is actually a magnificent example of Swedish architecture and is one of the most visited tourist attractions in the city. The City Hall consists of two main parts: the Blue Hall, which is where you see the Nobel Prize banquet, and then which is held every year, and then the Golden Hall and a stunning mosaic of 18 million gold tiles. And then the tower of this City Hall is like 106 meters tall, making it the tallest building in Stockholm. And then the City Hall is home to the offices of Stockholm City Councils and is used as a venue for major events such as royal weddings, political events, and it's also a popular venue for conferences and other public gatherings. The city is a must-see for anyone visiting Stockholm, and it's a breathtaking architecture with a vibrant history that make it a unique and unforgettable experience
I
for,
want to actually have this unforgettable experience.
which was one of the,
Like
I think it was one of
my
the, yeah,
opening,
it was part
right?
of the
Yeah,
opening
of course.
actually.
Like the culture and everything. The when you talk about visiting the Stockholm City Hall, it's actually a beautiful place, and then is a must see for any visitor, for any tourist. If you find yourself, like I said from the first one, you visit and have fun. This one, if you want to have a wedding, maybe a meeting, conference meetings, events, and all
That's
of
the
that.
royal wedding.
Find royal
It's a
wedding,
royal
of course.
wedding.
What?
It's not just
But
any
then,
wedding.
if truth be told, if you find yourself in such a place and then you enter this place, that is a must see
So long
for
you have
people.
money,
So
please
long
go.
you can afford it, why not just go and then have this experience, unforgettable experience, something that you know you will always reminisce about, you always
The
think about. You just,
unforgettable
do you understand
is the
that
key
word,
word. Table
unforgettable? So why
memories.
not give yourself the treat you deserve? Stop holding yourself
Spend
back
that
and
money.
spend the money.
Then we have what we call the Visby or the Gotland. This is actually a city on the Swedish island of Gotland, located in the Baltic Sea. It is the largest city and a popular tourist destination on the island, known for its well-preserved medieval city walls and its vibrant nightlife. They say this is one of the best preserved medieval city in Europe. It was granted UNESCO World Heritage status in 1995 and is home to many historic buildings dating from the 12th century to the 15th century, when it was an important trading part. The city walls, which were initially built in the 12th century, are still remarkably good remarkably in good conditions and are popular attractions. It's also a popular destination for its nightlife. There are numerous of bars, clubs, restaurants, city hosts many festivals all through the year, including a music festival in the late July and a medieval festival in August. Like, this is just giving me this vibe of going back and see what the past used to be like. When you talk about great walls, you talk about, like, according to what I have just said, like, it's a place that have been in existence for like 12th century. And when you have a building that is still in existence, right from 7th century till this 21st century that we are, you should know that there are a lot of things embedded. There are a lot of secret things or hidden things that you are likely not to have read about, seen, even dreamt about, or imagined.
This is actually a great destination for you to visit.
Yeah, it's a great destination. It's one of the places that we can as well subscribe into, forgetting you having that unforgettable experience, because you are just you are going to be exposed to so many beautiful things, like having embraced that nature, what it feels like to have your past being in the present.
There's something about this thing. He said, with its beautiful medieval architecture, vibrant nightlife, and stunning scenery, whether you are looking for a romantic getaway or a fun-filled family vacation, Visby is sure to offer something for everyone.
You know, when you talk about romance, the thing just...
We're talking about if somebody should find himself in that place. Excuse you. Okay, we have the Drottningholm Palace. It's located on the island of Lovo. It's one of the Sweden's most iconic cultural and historical landmarks. And then he said the place was originally a summer residence for the Swedish royal family, but today it is a popular tourist attraction and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is the only surviving example of a grand 17th century Swedish palace. The palace was built in the Baroque style and features a variety of interesting and ornate features, from its beautiful gardens and grand courtyards to its majestic halls and chambers. Inside the palace, visitors can find a variety of artifacts from the royal family, such as portraits and furniture. The grounds of the palace are also home to a variety of historic buildings, including the Chinese Pavilion, the Drottninghall Theatre, and the Drottninghall Palace Church. So it's actually a place for people to actually visit as well. I like the fact that they have something to offer. Like, wherever it is, they have things to offer for everyone. So if you find yourself in Sweden, try to visit one place, 2, 3, or 4 places. At least it's not going to hurt you, but at least you're going to enjoy. You're going to have all the fun that you need. That when they say they have things to offer, then it means there are a lot of things you can do to have fun. At least don't just go there and then work, and then you're not just going going to have fun for just maybe a day or two, it won't hurt.
These are places that have been in existence for, say, the 17th
Century.
and it's actually a royal palace. That, when you talk about royal palaces, it gives you this mindset of how the royal activities were being done, the buildings and everything are being preserved and all. Like when you were reading that, I was going through what was displayed on the screen. I was like, wow, so places like this still exist on earth. So if we have places like this here on earth, how can heaven be like? Oh my goodness. Let me see why I will not make heaven. Then we have the national parks. So if you are looking for a more leisure or leisurely activity, Sweden also boasts a variety of beautiful national parks. Stroll through the lush greenery of national park or take a boat trip around the stunning coastline of the national park. It's actually a place that has that enables you to liberate your mind, that enables you to see new things, that enables you to see how culture emanates. And when you are in that kind of environment, even the breath that you take or you breathe in at that point in time is just like it's heavenly for you, because you'll be feeling refreshed. You'll be feeling as if, okay, I don't think there's anything artificial surrounding me right now, but then nature, like it is just all nature, and then you will just blend in and enjoy the moment. So it's a place that sometimes you just feel like having that feeling of going to enjoy nature the way it is, and then having seen things the way God created them naturally. And then you see places like you see things like animals that you are not even used to seeing, how they are used to adapting into whatever place that they find themselves in. You see a lot of islands being embedded in that particular national park, and like it's just a lot. You have a lot of experiences, and you have a lot of stories to come back and tell, so that people would as well be involved in the experience that you already have gotten. So I think it's one thing for me not to go into a country like this and not explore virtually everywhere explorable.
Seriously, we have the Vasa Museum, and in the Vasa Museum, they said if you're actually looking for something different, something a bit different, why not take a visit to the Vasa Museum? The Vasa Museum is actually a place that will offer you a lot of things. They said the museum houses world's only surviving 17th century worship, and it is a fascinating attraction for anyone who loves maritime history. Just imagine 17th century worship.
Wow.
It's actually interesting to know that this place is still in existence.
Like
and then
this ship alone is giving me this vibe of Vikings.
Yeah.
That movie of Vikings.
Yeah, I know. Okay, fine. We have food and all of that. So maybe we should just quickly take up the food, maybe some few, and then we just let it go. We have the pickled herring, a must at all kinds of Swedish celebrations. Then the Swedish classic dish dating back to times when preserving was the way to make produce last through the winter. And then he said even though Swedes have not really had to hide from dismal winters and wild animals for a couple of 100 years now, the art of preserving produce is something that has become a solid part of the Swedish food tradition. The pickled herring is an important part of all three major celebrations in Sweden: Christmas, Easter, and of course midsummer. Of course, this is actually I think this should be like the introduction to the different kind of food and how they preserve their food and all of that.
When you were talking about this food, it was just giving me this feeling of, okay, even if I happen to arrive today in Sweden, then probably I think I'll be entertained by this food, because according to what you just said, it's a food that you will of course be given, probably is being served during special occasions like Easter, New Year, and for the fact that Christmas is fast approaching, there is no way I'm ever going to escape this food.
Food is just on your mind.
Food is life, my sister. Food is life. Without food, you will die.
Really? Who has died?
So we have fried herring too. So this, of course, has a lot of sprinkled herring tall shadows, but it is nevertheless a delicacy. Unlike the sprinkled variety, the fried herring tastes lighter on the tongue. Then the flavors are enhanced by melted butter, and it is served, of course, with mashed potatoes, then green peas and lingonberry sauce. This is a fresh and healthy dish that fish lovers will enjoy. Are you a fish lover?
Of course I am.
Okay.
I
That
just
is,
had one like some days ago.
please don't intimidate me.
And I
Don't
think I want to
intimidate
have one
me.
like
Don't
today,
intimidate
like
me. Don't intimidate me. So from what I have noticed so far, it's like, for the fact that it's a country that Sweden is a country that is surrounded by water. Of course, there's no way you can exclude the eating or the usage of fish in many of their meals. So, and I feel this, like, it's going to be it's going to be absurd when you see a food and then you are not seeing fish inside, as regards their
to the
meals there
environment.
in Sweden, because they see food, I mean, they see fish as their major food, because this is something that is common everywhere. They see it almost every time because of how close they are to water and all of that. So they can't just do or exclude fish or the inclusion of fish in their meals. And when you are eating a food or you are anticipating for a food and then the aroma of fish strikes you, oh my goodness.
I know that feeling. I know.
Are you sure?
I know what's running through your mind right now.
Are you
Yeah,
sure?
of course, we have the crocaco, a whole new take on meat and potatoes. Of course, they said they are essentially big, hearty potato dumplings, and there are a great many versions of these all over the country. Then they may also have different names depending on where in Sweden they are being served. In the south, they are called the crocaco, but in the north, they can be called palt. To make these delicious dumplings, mix potatoes and flour, and then wrap the dough around some fried pork. You can use both, either boiled or raw potatoes. If you use boiled potatoes, the crocaco will be white, and if you use raw potatoes, they will be gray. They are most commonly served with melted butter, double cream, milk, ligo berry sauce, and bechamel sauce. Notice, prepare for a food coma, so make sure to schedule a nap right after you eat them. So it's more like you're eating, maybe let's say this is what you have to eat before you take a nap. More like it's going to help you into sleeping in peace, sleeping well.
Like,
and
there's
all
this
of
feeling you
that.
get after you eat, you just lie down. I
Do
think
you
this is
know?
what this is the purpose this
This
particular
particular
food
meal
serves.
is made for.
And then we have the meat balls, which is smashed with potato and then lingonberry sauce, of which every mother's parade dish. This is something that, or if a meal that anyone who has been to IKEA knows that this is a Swedish classic. This dish has a special place in all Sweden hearts because all mothers have their own way of making these little balls of joy, and it is undoubtedly one of the most popular dishes in the country, especially with children. Traditionally, the meatballs is served with boiled or mashed potatoes, a cream sauce, and a lingonberry sauce. If this doesn't make you hungry, you don't know what you want.
Wow.
You don't know what you don't know
Seriously,
what
the
you
sight
want.
of it alone is captivating. It's something for you to just dive
This
on and
the
just
sauce
start
is just
eating, like,
it's all giving, it's all inviting. It's like, Tony, come and eat me free of charge. Don't pay anything. You don't have
Wow,
to really
really?
undergo any stress. Just come. I'm making myself available to. That's just what I'm seeing right now.
anyways, it's actually delicious because when you just see the sight of it alone is welcoming. We have the crayfish boiled in dill. They said the dish that has its own party. Just imagine that, a crayfish party.
That is that.
And then
When this particular meal is prepared, it invites a lot of people to come and party
do you
with
understand? Like the crayfish party. They said when the crayfish season begins in August, so many people host special crayfish parties
Oh
with
my
some
goodness.
with some pretty amazing decor. Prepare for snaps, the snap visual, and then some funny games. You will most likely be sporting a crayfish hat on your head, and there's certainly no time for vanity. Get stuck in, break off the claws, and suck out the juices. The crayfish are boiled in a brim bath, sometimes with
I'm
beer
sucking out the
and
juices already.
and always with plenty of crown, dill, and spices. All you need then is cold drink, snaps, the vast Burton cheese pie, soft
are
bread,
good to
crisp
go.
bread, and you are good to
You are good
go.
to go.
Just imagine having a crayfish party like having a crayfish party where you just, it's all about crayfish and all. Like just how they enjoy doing this is amazing. And said it mostly comes in August. That is the time where they get all of this like in abundance.
So
People
if you're a lover
prepare
of
for
this
it.
particular
Then find
crayfish, try
yourself
as
in
much as
Sweden in
no,
August.
but then it has to be in August because
Of
anything
course.
aside August, probably you may not even get to see
Yeah.
it. So try as much as possible that if you're a lover of this, then your travel should be slated around the month of
August,
August, so
yeah.
that you get this like the complete dosage of this particular meal. Then we have blood pudding, a dish you would want to drink meat for. I promise you. We promise you, or me, I promise you, because I know you're already
Are you promising
salivating.
you? You're promising them,
I'm
not me.
promising you and them, so that
Okay,
so
you're
that you
promising us.
so that you people will start salivating.
Okay.
So this blood and pudding can rightly be called a room divider. Either you love it or you'll be deterred by just the very name. And despite its ingredients, that is pork, blood, milk, flour, lard, sugar syrup, onions, all spices, like a lot of things. This is a regular recipe at both restaurants and schools. Slice the pudding, fried in the butter, and then served with lingerberry and crispy bacon. And yes, milk goes excellently with this dish, like excellently with this. This is giving me this chocolate vibe already.
Yeah, do you understand? Like, I'm just seeing chocolate cake. Do you get? Like, that's just what is in my mind actually from the images and all of that. But then, different countries with their
Yeah,
own
varieties of
delicacies,
making
with what
things,
they eat and how it's being prepared. So then, based on everything that we have said, it's not like we've experienced it, but then based on research and all of that, we
I've
know how all this
experienced
we know how it's
my
being done
dreams.
and all of that. Of course, it's always in your dreams. Anyways, it was actually interesting talking about Sweden and all of that, and it was good doing this with you
As
too.
usual, can you do this without me? No.
Anyways, I know what to say later. Thank you, viewers, for staying with us to watch this particular episode of the Midday Show live on Yako Television. I hope you had fun with us. Have a blessed day.